Are you the marrying type? Do you think this one could be the one?
We're going there.
Yeah, I like that in you. I like that.
You're different.
Yeah.
You just said it. You're like, I'm a different guy now.
Listen, I feel like I have grown, and the work that I've done on myself has allowed me to see that I am a marrying type. I am the type that I'm capable. I had a capacity, and I, at some point in my life, I may want to do that. Just I would know when the right time is, and I think for me, everything is divine. Like I work from that discernment that God speaks. When He speaks into your stomach, and you feel it in your heart and your spirit. So when I would feel that, I would communicate with that person, and if she's feeling that, then that would
Then
be
why
that.
not?
Then why not? Yeah.
I'm very grateful. I thank God each and every day, and I'm just letting God guide talent.
Jennifer Hudson just flipped the entire storyline in a way that nobody saw coming, and the shockwaves are rattling the industry like a 9-magnitude earthquake. This isn't just a little shade tossed on social media. This is a heavy-hitting move that's got insiders gasping, group chats exploding, and fans whispering like it's the biggest secret of the year. People are already bracing themselves, waiting for the receipts that might crack this whole thing wide open. And trust me, the whispers are getting louder by the minute.
As well, and I am very happy. Are you happy in your relationship?
Yes, this relationship is a happy place for me. It's like
I love that you use the word happy place.
no, but seriously, it's like for me, it's one of them things where I found where I can seeing her happy actually makes me really happy. So
Let's rewind for a second. Remember when Common couldn't stop bragging about Jennifer? He called her one of my greatest blessings and even said they were equally yoked. At the time, it sounded like something ripped straight out of a fairy tale, the type of headline you clip out and stick in a scrapbook. But now, the way folks are side-eyeing those same words, it's messy. Because now the question is floating in the air. Was that praise genuine love, or just carefully polished PR talk to make their romance look picture-perfect from the outside? Jennifer has always told the world that her happy place was calls with that man of mine, painting the picture of a woman totally in love, locked in, all the way down. But here's where it gets dicey. Was that happiness really bouncing back to her? Or was it a one-way street where Jennifer was pouring her whole soul into the relationship while Common was just nodding along, giving enough to keep up appearances?
Speaking of EGOTs from the South Side, Jennifer Hudson, your girlfriend, how special is that relationship to you?
oh man, that relationship is one of the greatest blessings and most important things in my life, in my whole journey in life. The friendship, the partnership, the life partnership, just the connection. Byron, to have somebody who's as talented and just soulful and like gifted and can do all these different things, and is one of the greatest vocalists of all time, and just this pure artist, man. Like, she's a special artist. But then to have someone who, most importantly, when it comes to relationship, is just like, it's like equal yoke. Y'all can.
One side was glowing, but was the other side already pulling away? Word on the street is that Jennifer Hudson might be entertaining a brand new man in her life, and rumor has it Common just found out the hard way. Or even wilder, maybe he hasn't even been clued in yet, which makes this whole thing a ticking time bomb waiting to blow. Either way, the whispers are spreading like wildfire, and the fallout is hitting with the weight of a ton of bricks, leaving timelines flooded with messy debates and non-stop speculation. Fans aren't treating this like a regular breakup. They're calling it a heavyweight clash of egos, pride, and power plays, the kind of drama that can flip reputations upside down overnight. But here's the kicker. How exactly did we even get here? Let's make one thing clear. This scandal didn't just pop up out of nowhere like some random headline. The cracks in this so-called fairy tale had been peeking through long before anyone was brave enough to say it out loud. Common and Jennifer's story started years back, before the romance ever went public, back when their paths crossed in the Chicago scene. Two local icons with Grammys, Oscars, and Emmys to their names. It felt too perfect, like fate had finally brought two hometown heroes together. Fans ate it up. They were seen shoulder to shoulder at charity galas, sitting pressed close at music gigs, flashing picture-perfect smiles at public appearances as if they were untouchable.
I'm very grateful. I thank God each and every day, and I'm just letting God guide this relationship.
Because God is in it, right?
God is in it.
That's right. Listen. Okay, this is the happy place. And we
Speak on it.
She the
Speak
one
on
you
it.
say.
Speak on it.
I heard that.
Speak on it. Speak on it.
But here at the Happy Place, we like to respect people's privacy, so I'm not gonna ask you too many more questions about that.
Yeah.
But you know, everybody wanna know, so I had to,
Yeah.
Ms. Hudson had to get into that thing.
We keep it private, but I want to acknowledge how wonderful she is, how great she is, so that's good.
Yes. I feel that same way about my partner.
It gave the illusion of unshakable chemistry until 2024, when they took things to another level by starring side by side in that sci-fi thriller that had Hollywood buzzing. On screen, the spark was undeniable, the type of connection that sells tickets and fuels fan theories. But here's the messy truth. Was that electric chemistry just masking the real storm brewing off camera? Because the more people look back now, the more those red carpets and staged smiles seem less like love and more like camouflage for chaos brewing in private. That film Breathe wasn't just another paycheck gig. It was the type of set where sparks lit up the air and no amount of acting could hide what was really going on. Cast and crew members whispered that the chemistry between Jennifer and Common was so natural it almost felt unscripted, like they weren't just playing roles but living them. And it didn't take long for cameras outside the studio to catch that same vibe spilling over. By early 2023, paparazzi lenses were locked on them in Philly, Chicago, and even Malibu. And those photos told a story that no PR statement could cover up. Of course, the media tried their best to downplay it. TMZ and a few other outlets went with the safe, just friends headlines, but let's be real, nobody was buying that weak excuse. Both Jennifer and Common kept playing coy in interviews, dodging questions with tight smiles and polite laughter, but fans weren't fooled for a second. Social media detectives went into overdrive, breaking down body language like it was game tape, comparing interviews, and pulling side-by-side clips to prove something deeper was going on. By the time those viral threads hit millions of views, the so-called just friends narrative was hanging by a thread. Then came the moment that really turned the spotlight up. Fast forward to July 2024, when Common sat down for the Mama I Made It podcast. Around the 20-minute mark, his entire demeanor shifted, and fans swore they saw a glow hit his face. He called his relationship with Jennifer one of my greatest blessings and even declared it one of the most important things in my life. He spoke about partnership, spiritual alignment, and then dropped that heavy bar about them being equally yoked. It was the kind of language you don't just toss around casually. It sounded like vows in the making. But here's the messy part. Was it really as deep and genuine behind the scenes, or was Common just carefully polishing their love story for the microphones? Because when you look back now, that podcast doesn't sound like romance. It sounds like someone trying hard to sell perfection to the public. On paper, the whole thing looked like a dream, the kind of glossy magazine love story that makes people swoon. But fans weren't buying it because the vibe in Common's tone felt off. Instead of sounding like two equals basking in love, it came across like karma had flipped the spotlight and made their entire relationship revolve around him. It didn't sound like, we're in love, we're building together. No, it was more like, look at how much I've grown, look at the man I've become to deserve her. And that little flex didn't slip past the fans. Social media lit up instantly with side eyes and threads calling him out for making it seem less about Jennifer and more about his own evolution. People were saying, this ain't love talk, this is branding talk, and honestly, they weren't wrong. Meanwhile, Jennifer played it cool, keeping things classy and controlled. She poured her focus into her talk show, her music, and her brand, never letting the mess overshadow her moves. Sure, she let slip a few gems, like calling him that man of mine at the Martha's Vineyard African American Film Festival, which kept the romance rumors glowing. But she never launched into long, teary-eyed speeches the way he did. Jen's words stayed measured, respectful, even a little detached. And that made people wonder, was she protecting her peace, or was she carefully hiding the truth of what was really happening behind closed doors? And let's not forget, Common popped up on Jennifer's talk show a couple of times, grinning for the cameras, sliding right into the supportive boyfriend role like he'd been rehearsing it. But the whispers backstage painted another picture. People close to Jen claimed she wasn't thrilled about how their love was slowly being transformed into part of his public narrative. Jennifer's always been about privacy. She wanted a love that was intimate, not performance art for headlines. She wasn't here to turn every sweet moment into some PR stunt, and the tension behind that difference in values, that's where the storm really started to form. And remember how I said there was one night that flipped everything upside down? Oh, this is the one. Right after all the Grammy hype cooled off, Common rolled into an exclusive post-awards party in Los Angeles. And trust me, this wasn't just any party. The spot was Delilah's, the kind of Hollywood lounge where secrets never stay secret and the real scandals are born. No cameras were inside, but let's be real. In a room full of industry folks, you already know somebody's gonna start talking. Word spread fast. Too fast. Common was allegedly tucked away in a corner booth with a tall, model-type woman, looking way too comfortable for it to be just casual. Drinks were flowing, the lights were low, and their heads leaned in close like they'd known each other for years. By the time whispers hit the streets, the story had already transformed from a rumor into full-blown chatter echoing all across town. And once the streets start buzzing, it's only a matter of time before it explodes online. Here's the kicker. That woman, definitely not Jennifer Hudson. And from the accounts that spilled out, Common wasn't even trying to be slick about it. Witnesses said he had his arm draped around her the entire night, leaning in, whispering in her ear, laughing like they were reminiscing over old times. The body language wasn't careful, it was bold, relaxed, and way too comfortable for someone who's supposed to be in a serious relationship. People in that room didn't just see it, they clocked every single detail. But the part that really cuts deep, Jennifer didn't hear about it from Common. Nope. She found out the same way everyone else did, by watching those whispers blow up online. Imagine scrolling on your phone and seeing your man trending for cozying up with another woman in public. That sting wasn't just jealousy, it was humiliation. Allegedly, Jennifer's response behind the scenes was, "Common was supposed to love me." And that wasn't just heartbreak, it was a gut punch reminder that the man she thought was her safe space was now the face of a scandal she never signed up for. Remember, Jennifer has always been fiercely private about her dating life ever since that split with WWE star David Otunga. Privacy wasn't just her choice, it was her shield, her protection from the circus of Hollywood. So for her, what happened here wasn't just a broken heart. This was a betrayal dragged into the spotlight for the world to pick apart. And in this business, that's more than personal pain. That's reputation damage. Jennifer isn't just a singer, she's an EGOT winner, one of the few to ever hold that crown. She's the face of her own daytime talk show. She's a brand that advertisers, sponsors, and big-name producers line up to be attached to. Her image is currency, clean, strong, and respected. So to have her boyfriend suddenly linked to some random model splashed across gossip blogs, that's not just messy, that's risky business that could cost her deals, viewers, and credibility. And here's the tea. By the time those rumors spread, Jennifer had already started icing him out behind the scenes. She was throwing just enough shade in public to let people know something was off, while half the industry whispered about Common's old patterns repeating themselves. But then came the real shakeup. Jennifer wasn't just quietly pulling back anymore. She was ready to make a power move that would leave everybody talking. Now let's set the record straight before we dive deeper. There was never one big smoking gun splashed across the tabloids. No single photo, no undeniable proof. But Hollywood doesn't need receipts on paper to spin a scandal. Sometimes whispers spread faster than facts, and once a narrative catches fire, the damage is done. Common stayed quiet, dodging the whispers, while both their teams scrambled behind the scenes to put out flames before they spread too far. Jennifer's camp allegedly went into full control mode, pushing a carefully polished narrative. She was laser focused on her work and her family, and her personal life was not up for discussion. Translation? She wasn't feeding the mess with even a breath of acknowledgement. Meanwhile, Common's rep took a softer approach, telling the press that he and Jennifer remain good friends, and that the headlines don't reflect the reality of their relationship. Two sides spinning two different strategies, but one truth remained. The cracks were already showing, and no press release could hide them. And here's where Jennifer's next move showed pure strategy. This wasn't heartbreak, it was chess. From a PR standpoint, she played her revenge optics like a masterclass. No wild rants on Instagram Live, no messy interviews crying into microphones, no scenes that tabloids could twist into a meltdown headline. Jennifer kept her image squeaky clean, her words minimal, her focus sharp. That's silent dominance at its finest. And the beauty of it? By holding back, she forced the world to do the heavy lifting. Fans started piecing together timelines, cross-referencing photos, whispering about gaps in the story, and basically building the entire scandal narrative for her. Jen didn't have to clap back. She let the silence speak louder than any dragged-out feud ever could. And while she stayed poised, Common's whole approach looked clumsy by comparison. He came off defensive, brushing off whispers, and sometimes sounding flat-out dismissive in his interviews. The difference couldn't be clearer. Jennifer was polished and cool, while Common seemed pressed and rattled. And in the court of public opinion, let's be real. The one who looks unbothered almost always comes out on top. But here's the twist. Nobody actually knows if Jennifer and Common even officially called it quits. No breakup announcement, no confirmation, nothing. That vacuum left every sighting, every caption, every soundbite open for decoding like puzzle pieces in a mystery the whole internet wanted to solve. And just when it looked like the whispers were finally dying down, boom. Out of nowhere, a blind item dropped that threw gasoline right back on the fire. The claim was jaw-dropping. Common's alleged new fling wasn't just some random model, it was someone from Jennifer's own inner circle. Yes, her inner circle. If there's even a grain of truth in that, then this isn't just messy, this is betrayal at the highest level. Imagine your own people being linked to your man. That's not just gossip, that's war in the making, and it's the kind of wound that cuts deep enough to change everything. Since that blind item exploded, Common has gone full-on ghost mode. No fresh interviews, no slick Instagram selfies, no paparazzi shots of him strolling down Melrose. Nothing. For a man who normally thrives in front of the camera, that sudden silence is suspicious as hell. And here's the piece that most people are sleeping on. PR insiders claim that the brands tied to Common are quietly monitoring this whole circus. Why? Because Jennifer Hudson isn't just any celebrity, and she's one of the most bankable daytime TV hosts in the game right now. Her reputation equals money, and in Hollywood, if you mess with someone whose name cashes checks, the industry takes notes real quick. But just when it seemed like things couldn't get messier, those whispers about Jennifer's inner circle started catching fire. Fans turned into detectives, combing through her entire squad, her friends, colleagues, even folks connected to her talk show, all trying to sniff out who the mystery woman could be. Was it someone she worked alongside every single day? Someone she trusted with business moves? Or worse, a so-called friend smiling in her face while sneaking behind her back with her man? That possibility had people gagged because betrayal from inside your own circle? That hits different. The theories ran wild. Twitter threads, Reddit breakdowns, TikTok evidence compilations. Fans weren't just watching, they were investigating like it was true crime. But here's what made Jennifer stand out. She never once addressed it head on. No messy rants, no cryptic clapbacks with initials, nothing. Instead, she doubled down on the grind, booking A-list guests on her talk show, sprinkling subtle captions that fans read like secret codes, and hitting red carpets looking flawless like she was untouchable. That calm, collected energy had people saying, "This is a woman plotting, not pouting." And honestly, the optics worked. Because while Common looked like the one hiding, dodging, and scrambling, Jennifer came across as the one sitting in control, cool as ice with the upper hand. But behind the scenes, insiders were whispering that the fallout wasn't just rumor, it was real. Calls were being made, contracts were being reviewed, and word is that some sponsors were quietly questioning whether they wanted Common tied to their brand. While Jennifer's star kept shooting higher and higher, the tables had flipped completely. Suddenly, this wasn't about romance at all, it was about power, influence, and who was really pulling the strings when the cameras weren't around. Because, let's be clear, it's one thing to get caught up in a messy love story, but it's an entirely different battle when the person you're clashing with controls major network airtime, has Oprah on speed dial, and sits at the very top of daytime TV. Jennifer isn't just another singer with a headline, she's a brand, a mogul, a powerhouse whose reach goes far beyond music charts. That kind of influence makes every move, every silence, every single caption online hit like a headline in itself. And here's the twist. As of right now, the official status between Jennifer and Common is still wrapped in mystery. No breakup announcement, no confirmation, nothing. But the story the fans are telling for themselves, it's already locked in. Jennifer is being crowned as the wronged but classy queen, the one playing chess while everyone else is fumbling with checkers. Meanwhile, Common is being painted as the same charming but predictable guy who lets history repeat itself. Some fans are even roasting him with that cold nickname, Common being Common, dragging him in the comments like it's his brand identity. So now here's the million-dollar question. Did Common just fumble the most high-profile relationship of his career? Or is the real plot twist that someone tied to Jennifer's own inner circle had a hand in this whole mess? Or maybe, just maybe, the entire thing is nothing but a storm in a teacup, inflated by internet sleuths who live for the drama and can't resist turning rumors into sagas. Either way, one thing is guaranteed, this story is far from over. The next public move, whether it's a red carpet reunion, a surprise duet, or another shady Instagram caption, is going to reveal everything about where Jennifer and Common really stand. But I want to hear from you. Are Jennifer and Common truly done? Or is this all just smoke and mirrors? Drop your thoughts in the comments, don't forget to like, hit that subscribe button, and I'll see you on the next one.